Hello and welcome. I'm Risty from HereThereBeMonsters, and we're back with another Working Wednesday stream. Today is Wednesday, the 5th of March, 2025, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. If you're not familiar, we've been tweaking the format of the show just a little bit, where we used to do what we called Power Hour, and we do still do that, but we're moving those to Thursdays instead. So today's stream will be a little bit longer, more like in the hour and a half to 2.5 hour range. Tomorrow's stream, Thursday, the 6th of March, will be a power hour where we try and be more in the 60 to 90 minute range. So today we have a couple of things that we're hoping to get done. We want to finish Minna's mini, and then I didn't put it in the list down below because I only thought of it at the last second.
And has been first 18 times.
I know. We will pick out our Hero Forge packs for the month of March.
YouTube stream is now live.
All the things. Thank you, Lumia. And then after that, we will work on some of the religions of Rin. So thank you so much for being here. We've got 45 minutes on the clock. We'll take a short break after that, and then we'll come back to it. So the goal is to get Minna done for sure before the end of that time. Ideally sooner, but before break for sure. So if you have not seen her before, this is Minna. There really are just two things left that we need to do, and we were on for kind of an absurdly long time last time, which is the description says that she has a bunch of funky like trinkets and bones and things in her hair. So we picked out a bunch of stuff here that we need to shrink and put in her hair. Maybe not all of it, but some of that. And then we messed around a lot with the colors of candles. And ultimately I wasn't super happy with where we landed, so I colored some of them red to remind me that we need to change that this time. But this is Minna. I'm super happy with how she looks overall. I'm really, really happy with the design. And yeah, just a few finishing touches. Let's do candles first. Oh, right. And I remember fighting with this last time. So it really doesn't want me like looking down here. It keeps forcing the perspective up. So let's try and find some better candle colors, because we were doing black and I really liked the look of black candles. However, black candles right next to the black smoke it looked very samey. So let's go into colors. Nope, not that. Or no, it is this. Colors and then paints. I do really like the blue flames. I think they look creepy. Although we may potentially still experiment with orange as well. But mainly I want to find other colors to use for the actual literal candles. Although, frankly, that's kind of a cool color right there. That's actually not a bad color. Orange. Which is okay, but I feel like that might be a little bit distracting because her color palette is fairly muted. This color is literally called Orange Doesn't Rhyme. Ooh. That's kind of like a muted... What didn't work? Yeah, I kind of like that. I don't know why Enola didn't work. Nah, that's too muted. Ooh, the fuchsia is kind of cool too. I do kind of like that terracotta color. Is neat. Yes, I'm using what are supposed to be fabric colors. Deal with it. Oh, it might be kind of fun to make one of the colors for this pattern down here, that like one of the colors from her robe. What about the cools? Yeah. Yeah, I'm working my way there. Ooh, the taupe is also quite nice. Although probably a little too close to black. The ash is nice. I like that actually quite a lot. That has too much blue to it. Okay. Let's look at cools. What's this one? Late hate. Ooh, that's striking. With the lighter blue flame. I don't like it with the darker blue flame, but with the lighter blue flame, it's nice. Nah. Bean green. It's not the greens. What about periwinkle? Ooh. Ooh. I'm using these other candles to save ideas, so to speak. That one's pretty nice. Denim. Denim's also pretty cool. Fleecy forest. Too green. Mustard. Nah, too yellow. Ooh, I do like that purple though. Bravely navy. That dark blue is kind of nice as well. Bougie blue. Ooh, it looks too blue on a big space like that, but a smaller space with like the candles is kind of nice. Well, and they don't necessarily. You're right. We might end up using 2, 3, 4 colors. I'm not necessarily limiting us to only having a few. That's too close to the color of her robe, I think. In fact, that might actually be the color of her robe. The aqua's too bright. Sky is also too bright. Mint is too green. Those are green, green, green. Okay. I think we have some good things to choose from. Finish my little snacky here. Quick side quest. Looking at the pattern down here, I don't like that. I do kind of like that. That's okay. I kind of like the grays though. It doesn't pull your attention too much, you know? Like it's there and it's pretty, but it's not quite. I feel like it gets more distracting the more colors I add to it. Yeah, I think I'll leave it. I think I'll leave it. How was your shift, Enola? How are you holding up with your low amount of rest there? You were late this morning? Oh no. Is that the kind of thing? Are they going to like knock you over the head about it every time? Or can it be, you know, not preferable, but kind of sort of okay every now and then? Or too bright. Late hate is the one that I'm looking at replacing. Oh, but no. What about fleecy fuchsia? Oh god, where'd it come from? There it is. Ooh, look at those three together. It's kind of a striking color palette. It's got a little bit of pop to it, but it's not like crazy bright. They're all fairly muted colors. I wonder about maybe changing the middle one to something like this color. That middle one is Angora Ash. Let's do Periwinkle. Only like 10 minutes late. The benefits of always being 20, 30 minutes early is when you're not there around that time. It gets close to start. They get worried. Yeah, fair. Ooh. What about whatever color this is? Eltwin Elk. Nah. Too far. I like the kind of desaturated nature of that one. I think those colors look pretty good together. I think that's a pleasant palette. Although I am curious, what do we think about this one? It's like even a little bit more desaturated. Ooh. There we go. I think that's it. Now we're just going to copy those over a few different times. You were woken up by a Facebook message asking if you were okay at like 15 minutes till shift start. I'm actually surprised if you were that worn out that a Facebook message was enough to wake you up. Brother, if they're going to allow us to decorate the bases, they need to fix the camera for doing this. Good golly, Miss Molly. Hey, Shalendor, good to see you. Yeah, I just red is just very like off from her color palette is all. Otherwise, I would agree probably. It was a very loud ping sound, and usually have that notification off because Okay, so there should be 3 more candles left to go. Let's see if there's a way I can position to where we can see all the candles. There we go. I think that's it, right? How's your day going, Mr. Looney? Oh my gosh. You know what I just thought of? This might be too much. But seeing all the floating stuff that we're going to try and put in her hair, floating candles might look really freaking cool too. Okay. I'm happy with the candles now though. So we'll keep going from there. I feel like it's probably going to be easier to choose what things we're going to use and color them before we try and shrink them and put them in her hair. Oh, okay. I can free move them. Oh dear. Man, the forced centering on the character is just the worst. All right. I'll definitely be taking suggestions on what of these items that we selected we think are going to look good / are going to fit the description. So I'll pull up the description here real fast. Tired, but otherwise okay. You had fun in your primary Pathfinder campaign. Ended up facing off against an archdevil and 2 bone devils. Very cool. I won't read the whole description because a lot of it's not necessarily pertinent for the part that we're doing here. But her ashen blonde hair, streaked with silver despite her relatively young age, is often tied into messy braids adorned with small trinkets, runes, bones, and bits of polished obsidian. So that's the pertinent part of the description. So these are the things that we picked out last time that we thought, kind of fit that type of description and vibe. And oh my god, the force centering on the character is going to drive me absolutely batty. So bones, obviously, we've got a couple of those. And I think feather just seems to fit, right? Have like a raven's feather or something. So bone, feather, like tusky looking thing. Pieces of obsidian. I don't know what some of these are going to look like when they're shrunk, but I feel like we want just kind of like a rock, not necessarily a gem. So I think we want that. Let's start with those because I don't know how much we're actually going to be able to fit in her hair. Let's start with these 5 things and we'll go from there. Color, paint, bone. Oh, like still bloody. That's hard, but probably not the right vibe for her. That's a cool color. Crumbling brown. Rotting bone. Versus yellowed teeth. Like that color. Probably like crumbling bone for that one. Oh, this one. What about this one for the bloody skull color? Just like a little bit of... Ooh. That's actually crazy. That looks great for the obsidian chunk. Oh, this tooth is multi-tonal. Ooh. Go the other order. Mixed feelings. It just makes the tip so bright. You do that. Kind of like the vibe of that. That's very green. Very blue. Very brown. That's very orange. These are all very, very something. I want them to look different. That one elk followed by yellow teeth. What if we take the Atwin elk and go like a little bit darker? I like that. I like that. All right, what about here? Can we get like a little bit less vibrant? Okay, like that. The bones all now have at least a slightly different vibe from each other. What about the feather, though? I think white feather isn't going to look very good. All right, let's start on the... Oh, that's right, because this one's not actually a feather, it's a pen, technically. Is there... Is there one that's just a feather? Also a pen. Make a color suggestion. Yeah, hit me. Raptor tail? Oh, God. Not that. Well, it was sort of on purpose, but I guess tell me a little bit more. Like, what do you... What would you see being like the solution there? Because if they're not the same color, that's also pretty eye-catching. I feel like, I don't know, matching makeup isn't like a super uncommon thing, right? Grab this green and put that... Oh. You're going for drawn on eyebrows. Sort of, yeah. It's, see what happens if I do this. They like, if I match the hair, they disappear. That's slightly better, but not much. But yeah, she's a fortune teller witch. So I was thinking that like dark lipstick and eyebrows, like it kind of gave like a vaguely gothic look. But also I couldn't really figure out what else to do. That darker gray is not awful. It doesn't disappear quite as much as the other gray, but it's okay, so I was gonna make that a gemstone color, but I didn't realize the whole thing was the same. Like that was one piece. So I think maybe we'll reuse the metals that we had been using. And go like that for the tip. Wait a minute. How is that the same color? Am I crazy? They're not the same color. That earring and that earring? Are we getting color theoried right now? I think we might be. Wild. Okay. This one looks significantly darker. Now, some of that's because it's literally like in shade, but. Oh, I don't like that. It just looks super gaudy. Which is not really her vibe. That's better. Brass down here. Yeah, that's better. It's still a lot. I might just end up trying to hide that in her hair, you know? See if we can just jam it in there far enough that you can't really see it. You just see the feather. All right. Speaking of the feather, I think white just doesn't make sense. It has to be something else. Metal, bone, skin, hair, paint, stone, wood, flame, gem, glass, eye. Probably hair colors. Maybe this should be like a crazy pop of color. I guess it only really has a couple zones. No, that's, oh, no. Definitely not that color, at least. That looks like a leaf. Okay. That's not so extreme. Are we only doing one color? No, it's one side, but no, it's doing both. That's not bad. I don't love it either. It's not bad. Too bright. Too pink. No. That's not terrible. I think that's good enough that we can try and work on it with it at least. Kit Bash, 10 minutes left. 10 minutes. So the bone, the first bone, the like femur bone, that feels like it should go here, right? Like kind of at like the nape of her neck. I don't know why. It just, that makes sense to me. The I feel like we have not gotten the bone coloring worked out quite yet. Oh, shoot. Quite yet. It doesn't stand out enough. It's going to like disappear in her hair. What about going like black? Something like kind of extreme. Maybe we go there and then we rotate it out this way. There we go. I think that's it. Oh, it was just showing that was the color while it was moving. Okay, never mind. I was like, I don't remember making any of the bones that color. The brown, I think, looks pretty good. It's maybe slightly too far into her hair, but maybe a little more like that. Nope, too far out now. No, it doesn't look like a bone. Gosh dang it. I think that works pretty well. I'm feeling less and less confident about where to put this feather, though. Maybe the piece of obsidian kind of float or kind of like yeah, let's try that again. Are we too far? Hold on. For some reason, I'm kind of seeing this as being like kind of embedded in that kind of covers up the detail of her hair though, doesn't it? Hmm. Maybe that goes, let's rethink this. Maybe this is going to go smaller and go up here. I would put the feather up front, but there's not going to be any way to hide the pen. Although, I don't know. I mean, that's not an uncommon kind of trope, right? To instead of a hair pick, to use a pencil. I mean, there's a big difference between quill and pencil, but maybe we do want that showing. We'll see. Except I do like the bone there. Not loving this. Let's scale it down. That's better, although I don't know if it reads quite the way that we want. It also currently, although only barely, looks like it's floating. Oh, hey, Wildfur, how are ya? Happy Ash Wednesday indeed. It's not bad. It's just not good. It seems so out of place. I feel like that one needs to get moved to the back somewhere. What she said. What do we think? Bone or quill? Yeah, no, I know. I remember. Good to see ya. How's your week going? Oh God. Okay, what do you guys think in the hair? The bone? Well, they're probably both gonna go in the hair somewhere, but like at the nape of the neck there. The bone or the quill pen? I kind of like the storytelling of the quill pen because she could grab it to write as well. But I don't know where else to put the bone if we put the quill pen there. What about, okay, hold on. Maybe we can have both. Can we make the quill pen like hang out of the bottom like it's been jammed? Like up into the braid? The angling's not quite right. That's fine. We can get there in a minute. I do kind of like that too. And then we still get the bone where we had it. More of like that angle. Hello there, David. Am I moonlighting as a stylist now? Yes. Yes, I am. it it looks a little bit random is the only thing, right? Like it doesn't read like it's jabbed into the hair if we do it this way. That's the only thing I'm torn about. We are putting the finishing touches on NPC for my D&D campaign named Minna Noctigal. She is, well, I will read her description to you momentarily, but I'm quite I'm quite happy with how she looks overall. And actually, I think that does look pretty good there now that I got it overlaid more the way I wanted. Putting the chip back in the head. Does that mean that I'm her outie? Thank you, Wildfire. I appreciate it. Grow the whole thing like just a little bit. Just a little bit. Milkman. I don't know if I know that reference. Other than, like, you know, of course, the old school jokes about milkmen. Oh god, don't do that. Or are we calling Milchick Milkman? Sorry, I've never heard that before, but it makes sense now. Yes, 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 yes. Sorry, I did not put two and two together. In episode 1 of season 2, right? We call him Milkshake, yes. Oh, I like that. Now it doesn't even really need to read as if it's a pen. Okay. So, let's get her positioned the way that we want her. And then we'll read. Oh, very interesting. Okay. Okay. And is this this is Vicarious Ventures, I'm assuming? I can't, the profile pictures are so dang small in YouTube chat. Tinfoil. I mean, that's how most D&D spell foci work, right? Most of the, like, you know, like reveal or see invisibility is just like throw talcum powder around the room. So that way it lands on them and you can see them. And I forget one of the other ones, one of the ones that, you know, causes like laughing is just like hold pepper under their nose, and I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. But on your personal account, thanks so much for coming by. It's great to see you. How's your traveling been? So ignore the floating horns. We haven't gotten those in her hair yet. We're working on it. And also, I don't like the piece of obsidian, so work in progress. But Minna Noctigal is the owner and proprietor of The Fortune's End. She's an herbalist and fortune teller who sells occult-style items and accoutrement for darker magics. She is a petite and wiry gnome with an eerie presence. Her ashen blonde hair, streaked with silver, despite her relatively young age, is often tied into messy braids adorned with small trinkets, runes, bones, and bits of polished obsidian. Her pale blue eyes have a ghostly intensity, always scanning the world as if seeing more than what's visible. Her complexion is fair but slightly shadowed, as if she spends long hours poring over dark tomes by candlelight. Forbidden dark tomes by candlelight. She wears dark, layered robes embroidered with esoteric symbols and a belt heavy with pouches of rare herbs and talismans. Her fingers, ink-stained and calloused, are often adorned with rings set with strange stones. Sorry, I'm trying to camera work and read. Set with strange stones. Despite her small stature, Minna moves with quiet confidence, her voice carrying a soft but unsettled cadence. She smells faintly of incense and damp parchment, and when she speaks, it often feels like a whispered secret from another realm. Rushing to finish some insurance reports before you have to leave. Just want to stop by and say hi. Yeah, no, I super appreciate it. She is levitating, yes. So the kind of the pose that I was going for was like levitating, almost kind of being pulled up into the sky, a la Stranger Things. And then she has like flung the stone up into the air with one hand, and she's in the process of casting a spell. I debated about whether or not to keep, to have like the candle and smoke down at the bottom. I would actually love some feedback there. I do kind of like what they look like, but I also feel like it might sort of distract from her, like what she's doing. Like, do you think it's better like that? I sort of do think it's better like that, but I don't know. I'm torn. Run up that hill, exactly. Well, so I sort of like the profile, ignore the floating stuff, of her not having things down on the base of the miniature. Right? Like you more get the like accentuated feeling of her like floating or whatever. But it's also kind of thematic, right? With the smoke and the candles. Oh, I may have lost the candles forever. Rip. Apparently I can't undo the deletion of the candles. Oh, there we go. Like it kind of looks like thematic. Like, oh, she's like a creepy witch lady. She's got like weird looking candles and there's like smoke around her. But I feel like you kind of lose the she's floating effect. That's what I'm torn on. Make her a smoke walker. I'm not familiar with that term. It is a bit distracting. Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. The more I was looking at it, I'm a little bummed because I do like the colors that we came up with for the candles, but I think it's better without. Yeah, it is. Well, wasted time on some of that. Rip. Someone that can walk on smoke. Fair enough. Without it, you initially thought that she was jumping. Well, but that was probably only because you couldn't, like, with the things there, you don't even really see that she's up in the air, right? But I don't think there's really a better way. We spent a lot of time fiddling with posing, and I don't think there's really a way to convey hover versus jump. I do like how the feather turned out, though. Even if it's a little big, which I might be able to tweak that a little bit. Her limp feet biomechanically convey the lack of hops. Okay, and that's kind of what I was going for. I didn't want them both to be like the exact same angle, but I tried to kind of pose them so they both looked limper, like they were hanging. Can we If it was a basketball above her, yeah, we there's actually, hold on, I'll show you something just a sec. I think maybe shrinking it up that way and then moving it up a little further might be kind of good. Also, dude, I love all the random like pop culture and music references. GG. I do lots of stuff like that as I'm streaming, so oh yeah, the Hero Forge gets pretty consistent updates, really. Yeah, it has full, as you can see, full kit bashing where you can like place and resize and yeah. I feel like it seems it needs to be shrunk a little bit this way now. Yep. Yep, you can link them right into Tailspire. That's why I would do it. I mean, other than the fact that it's fun and it helps us kind of, you know, expand our world building and whatnot. I'm still not happy with that though. I think that just needs to get like plunked in her hair somewhere, like else, not on the forehead. Maybe she just doesn't really put stuff in the hair closer to her head. I don't know. I've got running up that hill stuck in my head. Thanks. The heck? What? Oh. Okay, it is way further away than I thought it was. I do that stuff to other people a lot, though. I am particularly badly prone to earworms. So, and not that song may or may not become a problem, but there are a few that when they get stuck in my head will be there literally, like including in my dreams, will be in my head for sometimes at least weeks, if not sometimes months at a time. I don't know that I have. I mean, the original's pretty dang BA. There we go. I think that looks a little better there. Like it's still a little weird. It's not quite conveying what I wanted, but I think it looks better than having just like a weird black spot on her forehead, right? Yeah, I'm happy to have some links shared. I'm not sure. Like those all look too gemmy. Samuel Kim Music. That name sounds super familiar. Why does that name sound so familiar? I think so. It might yell at you. I'm not sure. Like it needs to rotate just a teeny bit this way to go with like the way that the gravity is taking the hair. Oh yeah, that's better. I'm still not 100% sold on this. I just can't get it where I want it. Hello, Izzy Cat Doot Doot. We're hair decorating. Don't think link sharing works. Dang it. Okay. Apparently you had sound in the headset, not in the TV. Oh. We're getting the trinkets in her hair right now. I really like the feather. It's actually technically it's a quill pin. And the bone at the nape of her neck I'm happy with. I think the big tooth is pretty good too. I have not been able to get the chunk of obsidian the way that I want. I don't know, it just looks weird no matter how I position it. Not as bad. Maybe at the nape of the neck in the middle of the bone. Is it a magical feather? It may very well be, huh? Like one that can summon a rock? Oh god, rocks are terrifying. Really anything that can fly, if you think about it, in D&D is terrifying. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Nah, I don't think there, but maybe in the braids in the middle still. Maybe we just need to go more like down here. Cosplaying as him in your campaign. Oh, nice. Dude, he's such a fun character. Heck yeah. What are the episodes that have that uploaded yet? No, that okay. Well, the angling's wrong anyway. But now it just looks like we're focusing everything in the middle. No, it hasn't happened. Dang it. I think we're just gonna go back over here and get it kind of jammed in the hair somewhere. But you were the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude. Love it. After we finish with this, by the way, for the curious, since of course it did. This took longer than I expected. We are going to be working on fleshing out some of the religions of Rin and adding some more like religious practices and stuff for them. As an MC at a pirate stripper traveling circus. That sounds amazing. Hello, T-Mom. How you doing, sir? +70 mile-an-hour winds last night. Dang. Section of your privacy fence didn't make it? Oh, shoot. Well, I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't worse, but still, that sucks. It's actually here dressed as in the little intro video that's pinned to the Blue Sky profile. Okay. Oh, now that's floating. What about attaching it to the base of the feather? Because you feel like a stone in the hair isn't going to look right no matter what. Probably / possibly. Although I feel like it's I don't know, better now than it was. What the heck? Why is it like there? What's the clipping being so weird? It doesn't even necessarily have to read as stone, right? I just wanted it to, like, it's just another thing in her hair. Pretty good. And slightly further. And maybe down slightly further so it looks a little more asymmetrical. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think that's good enough that we can keep it there for the flavor and the description and also move on and not spend all day today on it. It's mostly safe for work. I may not watch it while we're streaming, but I will definitely check it out. What do we think about another bone? I'm kind of thinking maybe too much. We've already got the one at the nape of her neck and the tooth. Helldivers tonight? I might be able to like quite a bit later. We're going to an Ash Wednesday service at around dinner time. Yeah, I think that bone also, it's kind of giving drinking horn, isn't it? Now that I look at it. I think that goes. You'll be awake until the wee hours. All right. I wanted something that gave like runestone, but there wasn't anything, at least that wasn't like insanely complicated. Although I don't remember seeing that before. My God, it's huge. That's what she said. Okay, we might be able to do something with this. A hair clip near the temple. Yeah, I was trying to find something to go up there. Like it feels like there should be something either like right here or like right here. We tried the obsidian there and no. I wish I could edit the props. Like I'd love to just get rid of all the rest of that. I know I can probably just embed it inside of her and it'll be fine, but just smear it on there. I got Helldivers later. This is also kind of a coloring problem now too, isn't it? Oh, that's not bad. Because I don't want it to look too much like the obsidian or like the bone. Nope, too red. No. Nope. Ooh. It's kind of nice. Like that one. I think also we can make the obsidian a little darker to help differentiate it. This looks like leather. Also, yes. All right, we're making good decisions. I dig it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think the darker leather will, oops. I don't think the darker leather will look as good for that. Nah. Kibash. All right. Can we get this? I'm torn because initially I wanted one more thing to go like down here, but I also feel like this could look kind of cool, like up here by her face. Like the way that her hands look now, very spooky. Thank you. Yeah, I think that turned out really good. It looks like she's all like ink stained and or possibly like charred. So I think what we do, I think we take this. This goes further. Oh, no, no, no. This goes further down. Comes like the small accent piece closer to the end. Oh my God. Thought they were Ash Wednesday hands. We actually colored her hands and did all of that several sessions. Well, one, I guess, stream ago. No, it was better. It was better more like up here. Maybe a little more out to the side like that. There we go. And then this we're going to take and we're going to shrink it down. How small can we go? Oh, very small. Holy crap. Okay. I kind of like it being a little bigger though. We have a fairly big space to work with. Maybe not quite that big, but we'll one step at a time, right? Oh God, not even close. Three-dimensionality can be so weird sometimes. Oh, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because it like hangs right off of a piece of leather. Hold on. Oh no. Then the rest of it comes out of her hair. Oh, it would be so good though. Can we fix it with rotation? Yeah, we can flip it to the other side if we have to. I like that idea though. I think that's neat. Oh, mirror it. I don't think so. I'm kind of attached to this idea though. The runestone is hanging off of the bone in her hair. You're gonna go watch some YouTube videos on gate and fence stuff. Got to take the opportunity to make the gate much bigger. Yeah, good luck. I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with that. Thank you for coming by, sir. Hello there, Cyber Sloth. That's an awesome name, by the way. You imagine that I prefer minis and terrain to Theater of the Mind. In a word, yes. I have nothing against Theater of the Mind. However, two things. One, I like to run a campaign that to me feels kind of grounded in reality. And so the loosey-goosiness of Theater of the Mind can sometimes be a little frustrating for me. But more importantly, I guess, to the discussion at hand, is I have I don't know, disability question mark, called aphantasia, and it means that I'm unable to visualize things. That is not a capability that I have. So theater of the mind is very, like, it doesn't really land for me in the same way that it does for most people. Also, that's a banger. I love that. You're gonna stop procrastinating on these reports. You're looking forward to watching another episode of Kingdom of Ren on your flight tomorrow. I'm gonna try and leave some comments for the algorithm. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Seriously, thank you for making the effort to come by and to share some memes and to share your time with us. It was great to see you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, any interactions you can do are super meaningful as well. In fact, if you haven't liked the live stream yet, great opportunity to do that before you go as well. Yes, I know I was supposed to be going to break time, but I also said that we were going to finish Minna before break time, so. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good luck on your, what did you say it was, insurance stuff, I think? You understand. I appreciate that. And you much prefer Theater of the Mind yourself. Yeah, and I don't think you took it this way, but just for the sake of extra clarity, I'm certainly not in any way talking down on Theater of the Mind as a system or a storytelling tool. I definitely understand the, that it has a lot of strengths. So yeah, so and for me, I think it's just my natural state because of being aphantasic to avoid that, because like, to me it doesn't necessarily matter if I can see it as long as I can communicate the theater of the mind in a meaningful way to the people that I'm communicating with. But the problem is because I can't see it, of course it's hard to fill in the details. As far as my preferred system, I enjoy and run D&D 3.5. I have played Call of Cthulhu 7th edition, D&D 5th edition, Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition, and a very little bit of a couple of other systems. But I like D&D 3.5 because, like I said, I like to D&D 3.5 is a system that kind of seeks to emulate like a realistic world. And the campaign that I run is very kind of Lord of the Rings coded. So D&D 3.5 is what matches up the best with the storytelling and world building that I do. Player or DM? I do a bit of both. I am primarily a DM, but so I'm DMing a D&D 3.5 campaign right now, and I am playing in a D&D 5th edition campaign right now. In fact, the miniature that we're making right now is an NPC for the campaign that I'm running. Oh, I love the runestone hanging off the bone. That's so much flavor. Yeah, thank you. It's a little bit like, it's a little too obvious of a zigzag, I guess, for lack of a better way to critique it, but I don't really know what else to do. I think that actually helped a little bit. Yep, that's exactly, I think probably just stream delay got us there, but I think you and I were having the exact same thought. You started DMing in 5th edition and moved to OSE recently. Tell me about that. What's OSE? Ooh, you know what might be interesting? Play with the three-dimensionality of it a little bit. Go over here. Have it be more kind of on the outside. I dig it, Izzy. Good idea. Can I give you a quick summary of your setting? Yeah, I would be happy to. Thank you for asking. Give me just 1 second to finish the thought. Move that out just a little bit more. I still like it overhanging the braid a little bit. Again, it gives a little three-dimensionality, but yeah, this looks so good. Okay, I was a little frustrated when we first started trying to do the hair decorations, but I'm liking it now. So, yeah, so I run a custom campaign setting. The world is called Rin. And it originally started as a table game that I ran for. It was a big group. We varied between 6 and 10 concurrent players, but it was a table game that ran from about 2012 to about 2017, with we estimated around 1,000 play hours at the table. And then we didn't play from 2017 to about 2021. And then, so I'm a content creator by trade, and my wife Pixie and I run a Twitch channel together that's also called HereThereBeMonsters. And when our community on Twitch found out that we had experience playing D&D, they started asking us to consider playing D&D on stream. So eventually we made it a stretch goal for a special event, and we hit that stretch goal. And so we did a couple one shots, and then we started streaming D&D content. So now I run a new campaign that takes place in the Kingdom of Rin. We play about twice a month, and also we have another Dungeon Master friend of ours who is running a second campaign that also takes place in Rin on our channel in the same timeline. Different adventuring party, though. So Rin is a low-level, low-economy, medium-low magic fantasy setting that like seeks to kind of tell like a grittier, riskier fantasy story. I did not specifically make it to be Lord of the Rings adjacent, but the closest thing that I can compare it to for people is kind of Lord of the Rings style storytelling. You know, like where a single orc or a couple of orcs are dangerous, and where we're saving the world, and like magic items are rare and powerful and impactful, and that type of thing. So thus far, the campaign summary, I guess earmuffs if you're watching our videos, or going to be watching our videos and you don't want spoilers. But the campaign summary thus far is the players got the party formed. They got together. They have been working for the militia for a frontier town called Capstone to help scout and defend the local area. They've, of course, had many adventures along the way, but ultimately they uncovered a growing orcish threat. And the town was unprepared to deal with that, but thought that they had ample time to prepare. Shortly thereafter, the orcs surprise attacked the town, and we had a huge combat with over 2,000 belligerents, over 1,000 orcs, and over 1,000 defenders. And the town was barely saved. And when I say barely, I mean like the last maybe 24 defenders were holding the gates. They were falling. Orcs were climbing over the walls. Like, it was down to the final wire. And I'm a big believer that the world is the world, and the players do what they're going to do in the world. And so, like, if the defense had failed, that town would have been probably razed to the ground. Like, the world would have changed. I like consequences like that. So anyway, the town of Capstone was just barely defended. One of the player characters is a Knight Paladin multiclass, and he, in the aftermath of the battle, was deeded a fort. So the town of Capstone decided that they wanted a network of preliminary warning forts further away from town, so that way the town couldn't be ambushed like that again. And so one of the player characters, our Knight Paladin Alandite, has been deeded one of those forts to establish and to design, build, and establish a foothold for Capstone in the wilderness to help defend the town by proxy. So that's kind of where we are thus far. Of course, we've got other player characters with other stories and whatnot that we're working on. In fact, they are about to go north towards Elvendom to try to find one of the other PC's missing brothers. That character and his brother are foreigners, and they're essentially. It appears that they are going to be forming a rebellion against their father in their homeland. So that's where they're headed next. Hey, Reading Squirrel, appreciate you. Sorry, I wanted to get through those thoughts. But it's good to see you. Travel safely. Player agency is king. Absolutely. Absolutely. For whatever it's worth, if you think that sounds interesting and you enjoy D&D shows / podcasts, we do upload all of our videos here at youtube.com/HereThereBeMonsters. There's currently 34, I think, sessions. And the first 10, we didn't have player cameras, but I think the first 10 episodes, the prologue is really cool. We had an epic session 1. And then starting at the end of the prologue, then we have all of our player cameras along the bottom of the screen. Old School Essentials. It's a restatement of OD&D rules. Oh, interesting. Okay. Very modular and really simplified. It lets you focus on better descriptions and narrative developments with very open-ended character classes. Interesting. Do you know who's publishing that? Excellent. You're interested. You'll subscribe. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We do also have the foreigner character, Bahir. We actually scripted and had his player read the script for his character's backstory. I thought it was pretty cool. It's about 6-7 minutes long. We generated some artwork for it and overlaid his narration of his backstory on top of it, and people really seemed to like it. It added a lot of extra depth to the character and to the world. So hopefully sometime in March or April, we're going to be uploading the next of those character backstory videos. I want to do one for each member of the party. We also have some other original content planned. So we'll continue, of course, to upload our sessions like we have been. We also, in addition to the character backstories, we have some other original content planned for this year as well. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy. Thank you so much. Necrotic Gnome Games. I'm not familiar with that organization. It's very affordable, $20 for the core rules, and you get a ton of content. Interesting. I'll super check it out. That sounds really interesting. Old school essentials. Huh. Also, Izzy, I'm sorry. I read when you typed it, but I don't think I read it out loud or responded. You said that you really enjoy my descriptions, and I just wanted to say thank you. I can do it, but it takes a lot of effort, and sometimes that can kind of like pull me out of the narrative moment. You know, trying to remember like, okay, hold on, but like, what did they see and what did they smell and what did they hear and I know you also you looked up there we go. Aphantasia. Sorry, I know this was like 15 minutes ago now, but you said aphantasia, which is the inability to form mental images, is not considered a medical condition, disorder, or disability. Right. No, and I knew that, which is why I said like disability ish. Of course there's a lot that goes into like that's a very loaded word for better and for worse. Um, but it's a barely understood condition, really. It's only really come to medical understanding or even medical awareness within the last couple decades. How much homebrew do you implement into your games? I don't know how to answer that precisely. I do try to base in the system and in the rules as much as possible because I want, you know, like I said, I run a world that relies on a feeling of groundedness, and I use a system that helps provide and supplement and augment that groundedness. And so like I want to use that system as much as possible to bring those things together. But of course sometimes you just don't have what you need. So we absolutely do homebrew. But I always try and start D&D 3.5, if you've never played it, is kind of the system where there's a rule for everything. And so if you manage to find something that there isn't a rule for, there probably is something that's pretty adjacent. So I try and find kind of the nearest rule and then base it on that because I want to maintain that verisimilitude, if you know that term. I guess I should have asked if Izzy was still here before I went back and responded to the Aphantasia message, but I think the thing that's gonna finally solve oh god the stone for me is to make it a little bit bigger. I think it's so small that it makes it feel kind of accidental. Yeah, that totally helps. That totally helps. Yeah, it doesn't look like an accident now. Just added a little more three-dimensionality and a little more size to it. Okay. All that being said, you think that I do a wonderful job. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You get it, though. You also struggle trying to convey your thoughts, especially in text since nuance is lost, for sure. You're still here. Yeah. You were working on your own mini. Oh, nice. Is there? Do we think? Do we want any of these other things? Most of these look a little too gemstony though, and I wanted it to look a little bit more like naturalized than versus gems, you know? Never played 3.5, but you've heard good things. People seem to enjoy the character building. Yeah, yeah, for sure. You can obviously go very far down the rabbit hole there, but one of the things that I like about the character building for 3.5 is you can do as much or as little of it as you want, but there's a lot of granularity that's lost in newer versions of D&D. For instance, being able to pick and level up individual skills. Maybe try and find. Yeah, I don't know if we can find a literal hair clip, but I wonder if we can find something that could give a similar vibe. We decided. I had kind of been feeling this way the whole time, but it felt like it distracted from the fact that she was floating. I ended up pulling them. I just couldn't get over it. Speaking of which, I kind of wish that I could go back and make her float a little bit more than she is, but I don't think there's a way to mass select. Unless I can select all. Nope. I think she is where she is now. I'm not going to go back and reposition those props. I have to say, though, I'm still in love with the bone holding the runestone. Plop an eyeball in her hair. So I'll give you an example of some homebrew that I've done. Exactly, Shalendor. So, to Cyber Sloth, I mean, I guess to everybody, but because I want to run that, a world and a story that feels grounded, that feels like it could really happen. I also, and because we're lower level, there's no resurrection magic in Rin, or very, 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 very little at least. It would be like one of the most powerful NPCs in the game that could like barely do the weakest resurrection magic. Maybe. So as a result, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to just, I don't want, I want to give a little bit of leeway. So it's not just straight up hardcore permadeath, but at the same time, I want to be, respectful of the way that we've built the world. So what we've done is we have kind of a 3 strikes you're out rule, wherein the first death, as long as it wasn't just like a player being super meta or just super super dumb, right? Like level 1 character runs a dragon, like, okay, yeah, it eats you. You're like, but like assuming that a death happened throughout the course of normal heroic adventuring. The first death is free, so to speak. Now we narrate it out so that it's dramatic, and try and create like a cool scene for what happens. But each player character gets 1 free, so to speak. The second death, the second player character death, you get to make what I termed the karmic save. And the thinking being that throughout the course of your time adventuring, you have been doing good deeds, you have been, pulling kittens out of trees, you've been, saving the cities, etc. And so on what would be the player character's second death, they get to make what we call the karmic save, which is 1 saving throw using their best saving throw modifier. Which for 3.5, that's willpower, fortitude, and reflex. If you succeed on that saving throw, then again we narrate that out and try and kind of theme the narration based around which saving throw you performed. So if you make it out, then you survive, but you take a permanent injury, and we have a whole table, a whole chart to determine what kind of injury and what type of stat that injury affects and whatnot. If you fail the karmic save, then that character's dead. So it's 3 strikes. It's 2 or 3 strikes, I guess you're out. First one's free. Second one, make your save. Third death, no matter what, is that's the end. So, I found that to be like a pretty dramatic way to handle it without, like I said, kind of breaking the world and allowing, like death is still impactful and it still matters and you still have to be very, very careful, but it's not quite so punishing as 1 death is permadeath. But we're also not like fudging in like actual resurrection magic. Like that's kind of the mindset that I try and apply homebrew to, or like the filter, the lens. You've had to hack up 5e to get the vibe that you're looking for in your games. You came to the conclusion of upping monster damage values to 1 to 2 shot the squishy players on average while lowering monster HP. Okay, yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. Use a diadem and shrink or reposition it. I don't know if they're... Oop. No. No. Oh my god. Maybe? It might look a little bit too much like the little like crown that she has. But maybe. Oh. Well, okay, whatever. Throw that over here for now while we're thinking of things. Do I enjoy homebrewing monsters? Your favorite part of TTRPGs is shocking your players with cool baddies. Yes. So monsters and NPCs, that is probably one of my favorite parts as well. That's actually part of the reason why we're spending so much time making this mini, other than the fact that it's fun and I think she looks cool. This is an NPC in our campaign. I can read her kind of the flowery description that I wrote for her if you'd like. So I want to visually deliver on like kind of that theming, because for major NPCs and stuff, I actually fully stat them. So I have straight up character sheets. Oh, you wish. Character sheets that these are different NPCs that I actually go through and fully stat, because for one, that's fun for me. And I enjoy that process, but for two, I think it allows me to tell deeper stories, because it really gets me in the character or in the NPC's head to think like, what are their motivations? What do they care about? Like what skills or like what feats, like what are they good at? What are they bad at? So yeah, I love to build detailed NPCs, and yeah, I love to build monsters as well. I also like a good old fashioned random encounter chart. Nothing wrong with that either. But yeah, I love customizing that kind of stuff for sure. Didn't expect that bit to be solid. No, me neither. Obviously, if we shrink it and stick it mostly in her hair, then you wouldn't really see. But so yeah, I also one of the things that we do during these streams, actually, like we definitely don't only work with minis during these streams. We have done it a lot in the last couple of streams, but generally speaking, we actually do a lot of like random encounter chart building, monster design, homebrewing items. I love to make custom items as well. So we try and get kind of like an array of things. Something like just using a straight up Taurus, obviously that's way too big, but and just making like a hair, just kind of like putting like a ring in her hair. Honestly, I kind of feel like that should happen regardless of whether or not we find something to go on her temple. Just like around, like in one of her braids, or I don't know. How do I get the categories? Oh, there we go. We're about to introduce a new orc war chief villain inspired by Lord Humongous from Mad Max 2 Road Warrior. That's cool. Oh, a shield shrunk way down if I could. It could kind of look like a hair clippy kind of thing. If it'll let me shrink it that small. That's awesome. Cybersloth, I love it. And actually the Battle of Capstone was 10 tribes of orcs. They called themselves the Unity of the Warforged. And so each tribe had their own specialty. Like they were really good at making weapons, or they were really good, or they had like shaman, or various things like that. So I dig that for sure. Wait, that just straight up looks like a hairpin. Although I guess by the time you stuck the bladed part in, then it maybe wouldn't look quite so much like it. Or I guess maybe that looks more like a brooch. There's not going to be weapons in her hair. Or spells. Or lights. Or probably not banners. Instruments, food. Miscellaneous, I feel like, is just going to be like all the things. Oh, they added more bones literally since last time we were on. In the same row as the bladed looking thing, there was a leaf looking thing. You talking about up here? I mean, there's familiars. But I don't think that's really what we're... In shields? Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that. I think Leaf, it just doesn't have, like, it doesn't have the right read for her character, you know? This orc tribe, the Blood Tusk, that's a great name, are starving out a fort and trying to claim it for themselves. If they win, they'll expand control over the region. I love it. I love it. He's got a kazoo. Sorry, I know my camera's covering part of the list, but... Banana for scale. Banana gun, even better. Polyhedral dice, that's kind of meta and fun. How do I approach deities in my world? Phenomenal question. That's actually, ideally, when we finish with this, the next thing we're going to do is actually do some stuff on the religions. But my world is completely actually built. Ninja Star is kind of cool. No. Doesn't really look the way I want it to. The very first thing that we did for Ren actually was the deities. There's a book called Deities and Demigods that I don't have within reach, but I can grab it if you'd like to see the cover. And that when I very first started playing, I played D&D maybe half a dozen to a dozen sessions, and I really liked it, and I wanted to play more than once a week, and my DM did not want to run more than once a week, which is fair. So I decided to be the change I wanted to see in the world. So I started. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy some of my own books and start designing my own stuff, and do it myself. And I bought some books off of eBay, and then it was kind of like, what do I do now? So I started thumbing through the books that I bought, and ultimately I thought Deities and Demigods sounded, has kind of like an evocative name. So that's what I started with. So I made the pantheon and religious system of Ren first, before there even was a world. Right, Reading Squirrel. I have a story. I have a follow up to that I can't share today, but that I think you are going to love. There's so much stuff in miscellany. Oh, they made there's other amulets. That's kind of cool. I think they look a little too samey, so So I think hanging another one would not look right. I think the runestone's good. Shapes, arms, attachments. Oh, you know what? I ended up spending so much more time on this than I meant to. We did talk about possibly making floating candles. I don't know if that will read correctly. Body attachments. Oh, right. No, not that. You're 35. Okay, we're pretty close in age then. I'm 30. Oh God, what am I? I'm 38. I had to stop and math really quickly. Imagining your world since you're 11ish. That's awesome. So, in the kingdom of, so the kingdom of Rin is where most of our story takes place. It is a predominantly human kingdom that is predominantly monotheistic. So in worship of Bana, the Peacebringer. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of religiosity, for lack of a better word, that we've developed. Also, Bangle seems like it could be nice for what we're looking at. Reinforced cuff. If you could see her forearms more, that would look great on her arm, but that might be exactly what we want for the hair. Save both of those. The Noble Gem Bracelet. Although that's honestly, that's just a smaller diadem. Rough metal cuff has cool texture to it. The most powerful god. A little on the nose, but I suppose we all have some of our things that are, right? Bangles. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Rings? Oh, interesting. That might kind of look like charms also, though. For sure, for sure. No, there was no criticism implicit there. Masks, chairs, neck items. Choker with pendant. I hadn't even thought about a necklace. Probably have to remove her brooch if we did that. Yeah, I didn't even realize there were. The abyss bound pendant. I don't know. What do we think about like the kind of brooch that she has now versus an actual necklace? I sort of like the brooch thing. I feel like it might be hard to get that positioned in a way that's going to look good with how hyperextended her neck is, you know? I also feel like something like this could kind of be like they call that an earring, but that could just as well be jammed in her hair, right? And we know that that can get small. We can't shrink the shield enough. Speaking of which, let's see. How small can we go? Close. If we didn't already have a solution for back here, that would totally be the type of thing that would go there. If it could just be like another 20% smaller than that, that would actually be so good. Nice, Izzy. So, Cyber Sloth, how many, if you know off the top of your head, deities total do you have in your world? I really want to find a way to fit that in, but I just don't see anything that makes sense. Hello. How you doing, sir? Okay, so this can definitely get small enough. That can get absurdly small. Isn't it? Yeah, we have a lot of fun with Hero Forge. So I think the Taurus can go and the Diadem can go. Let's just grab this and throw it up here and see. But I'm like 99% sure that it's going to look too big. Yeah, it's like the size of the whole side of her head. Dang it. It would have been cool. You have about 8 gods with 7 archdukes of hell, each being a fallen angel that represents a deadly sin. Oh, I love it. Very cool. Too much to list. Yeah, no, that's fine. I getcha. I feel like maybe just this hammered metal one. This is kind of giving me the right vibe. Oh. If you could make the loops look like frosted donuts, this person could be reaching up to get them. She could be. She could be. Right. It was suggested that instead of a Crystal ball. She'd be reaching, well, casting spells with donuts. I think this is going to be like exactly what we want. Edit here. Wait, oh, scale. Unmove. What do you think? Should it be right at the front? You know, like it's kind of like helping hold back her hair from her face? Or should it be on like the second strand? Like more like back here. It still needs to go down further, but I think this is exactly what we were looking for stylistically, though. I think with the shape, the front strand might work better. Yeah, my only concern was that it might be too much close to her eyes. I guess it's not bad. That does put a lot of metal right by her face. It might be a little much. Second strand might be better. How did you read my future? I read it in the frosting. Right? He also drew inspiration from the Daedric Princes of Elder Scrolls lore. I like that, yeah. Especially once we make it metal colored, right? Because if we go here, and then whatever, take that one. Like maybe the brass. Definitely the brass. I just can't get over how close it is to her face. Right? That, I don't know, that just feels better. I know it needs to be rotated a little bit and whatnot, but I think I just like that better. It still gives like kind of in profile, like it's still very much up there. That's pretty close. Rotate downwards a little bit more and like that way. I feel like that got worse. I'm gonna rotate down. Am I crazy? Or am I grabbing the wrong one? Down. There we go. Right? There we go. Do we like that size? I think I can shrink it a little bit more, but that size seems to be about right for kind of like the clumps of hair. Maybe a teeny shrink? Oh, I like that. Makes it just not stick out quite so much. I didn't shrink it a lot, but just a little. I kind of want to stick like one more in her hair now, you know? Or maybe two more. Now that we found all these bangles and rings and everything, we could decorate her hair a little more. Put one on the other side. I kind of like the asymmetry. Especially since her hair is parted asymmetrically as well. What's Minna's story? Nice of you to ask. One. So Minna is an NPC shopkeeper. Sounds good, Izzy. My wife's character is not over fond of her. I'll see if I can do camera work while I read, but it is kind of hard. Minna Noctegal is a herbalist and fortune teller who specializes in occult style items and darker magics. She's a petite and wiry gnome with an eerie presence. Her ashen blonde hair, streaked with silver despite her relatively young age, is often tied into messy braids and adorned with small trinkets, runes, bones, and bits of polished obsidian. Her pale blue eyes have a ghostly intensity, always scanning the world as if seeing more than what's visible. Her complexion is fair, but slightly shadowed, as if she spends long hours poring over forbidden tomes by candlelight. She wears dark, layered robes embroidered with esoteric symbols and a belt heavy with pouches of rare herbs and talismans. Her fingers, ink-stained and calloused, are often adorned with rings set with strange stones. Despite her small stature, Minna moves with quiet confidence, her voice carrying a soft but unsettling cadence. She smells faintly of incense and damp parchment, and when she speaks, it often feels like a whispered secret from another realm. Hello, Kojo. Sorry, obviously I was reading there for a moment. You happen across the stream, so you'll guess to use this time to do some GM work. Let's go. That's perfect. That is exactly what this is for. You need to schedule a game, try to plan another event, and then finish reading a player's guide. All right. Player's guide is for a game you're playing, not GMing. Got it. That makes sense. Spend more time using Hero Forge. Need models for your PFS characters. I'm not familiar with that acronym, or at least I can't think of it off the top of my head. Well, welcome in. Yeah, I am Mercy, the head game master at HereThereBeMonsters. We run a twice-a-month campaign that takes place in my custom setting called the Kingdom of Ren on Twitch, and then we upload those videos here to YouTube. I also live stream here on YouTube most Wednesdays and about every other Thursday, and it's kind of a GM work-along stream, so that's perfect. Good luck on your projects. Thanks for being here. Pathfinder Society. That's Pathfinder Organized Play. Okay. So it's like Adventurers League. Awesome. We play D&D 3.5, which is, as you probably know, is where Pathfinder originated. So very cool. Great character description. Thank you. What races are in our world? Well, I don't want to be too spoilery or anything. But the Kingdom of Rin is inhabited mostly by kind of the standard goodly fantasy races. So mostly humans, but also elves, dwarves, gnomes, and halflings. The dwarves have their own kingdom, which is called Cantabar, which is actually, can I get the map up on the screen? I forget if I have that loaded here or not. Hold on. Let me look at something real quick. This will be easier if I can show map. I could have sworn I added it. Here, hold on. Player map. Make sure I open the right one. So the world, of course, is bigger than this, but this is the map that is commonly available within the Kingdom of Rin. So, you know, for a bit of money, and maybe not every shop per se, but many shops around Rin like this would not be a hard thing to acquire. So this is the map of the Kingdom of Rin. So Rin sits on the western coastal side of the Serpent Spine Mountains, comprised of 3 baronies, a northern, a central, and a southern barony. And each barony has a handful of major cities and settlements. And then, of course, there would be smaller homesteads and farm co-ops and whatnot spread around as well. The story that we've been telling so far in our on-stream campaign that we upload here on YouTube takes place around Capstone. Oh god. Just tried to drag and move. So this is Capstone Peak, and the surrounding area, most things are named for it. So this dot, which is how we're denoting population centers, that would be the town of Capstone on Lake Capstone, surrounded by Capstone Forest, etc. So our campaign thus far has predominantly taken place in this area here. Have demographics for each of these population centers as well. Hey Eclipse, how are you? And as far as how the kingdom works, it's not an absolute monarchy. So there is a king, but decisions for the kingdom are made by the ruling council. The ruling council is made up of the king, the high priest, and the council of barons. So any two can overrule the third. So like the council of barons and the high priest could overrule the king, or the king and the high priest could overrule the council of barons, etc. The council of barons is another trio, of course, for each of the 3 baronies. So there are 3 barons. The 3 barons get to vote amongst themselves, and then they collectively cast their vote as the barons within the council. And then, so you have the 3 barons. They collectively cast one vote that then becomes one of the 3 votes on the council, or the ruling council. So outside of what would normally be put on like a map that would just normally be sold within Rin, but broadly speaking, that road leads up this way to the Winter Woods where the elves live, or at least the nearest elven kingdom. And then to the northeast-ish this way would be Cantabar, which is the dwarven kingdom. This is a scan of the hand-drawn map that I drew back in like 2012 when we first started the world. Doing well. We stopped by to see how the work on this side. Yeah, thank you. I at the moment I've spent way more time than I intended fiddling with a miniature, but we are going to work on some religious stuff, at least really briefly before I need to get going. In your world, the elves and dwarves nearly destroyed the world in a massive war. The dwarves attempted to harness the power of the gods and created the dragon, nearly consuming the world in fire. Very cool. I definitely have some religious lore like that I could drop, but generally in these streams I try and be relatively spoiler free. I very much struggle with kind of like how and when to share info like that, because of course world building is worth nothing if you don't have a vehicle to share it. But at the same time, I also don't want to spoil too much. So I flip-flop on that. I'm glad you're doing well, Eclipse. Oh, for sure, Cyber. Yeah, yeah. All right. I think we really have nearly fiddled ourselves to death with this, though. All we have left is to see if we can fit maybe one or two more things in her hair, and if we like the look of that, and then we'll move on. I think not that one. Oh, too far out. I want it to be visible and obvious that it's a bone. That's why I keep tweaking that. Did I take a break? Maybe. No, I didn't. I meant to. I was having fun. I should at least update the thing, though. Okay, what is my kind of like drop deadline time? I could go for up to 30 more minutes, but ideally less than that. So we're gonna put 20 minutes on the clock, so that way I've got a little overage. And then I'll put work ends. There we go. Okay. Speed round, right? So yeah, a little bit about these streams. So like I said, I stream most Wednesdays and every other Thursday. The Wednesday streams tend to be a little bit longer, a little bit more, really getting into the depths of things and having fun with world building or character design and whatnot. The Thursday streams are what I call power hours, which is where we try to much more strictly stick to the clock of 60 to no more than 90 minutes. So I will be back tomorrow. This is the Thursday week, so not that I'm leaving yet. Like I said, I've got at least 20 minutes left here, but just so you know, I will be back again streaming tomorrow, starting a little after 2 p.m. Pacific, and that'll be more of a, like I said, 1 to 1.5 hour stream. I kind of want to try and put these like on the back of her head here. And then maybe this brooch kind of feels like I want it to be like somewhere down in here. So that's our speed round. Is we're gonna try and get 1 to 2 more things in her hair, and then finally actually be done with her with Minna. Is much fun as it's been to be really fiddly with her. And then we're gonna try to knock out a set of religious rituals for one of our deities. That's what we've got for our remaining 20-30 minutes here. I mean, it could be. I honestly hadn't decided, but that was not my plan. Was to do Banana. Yeah. Oh dear God, it's so hard to tell like perspective here. Did I have much of a graphics or art background before I started? No, I don't really. I mean, I think I have a reasonably good eye for design, just kind of broadly speaking. So, like, I make a lot of my own assets for my YouTube videos and Twitch streams and whatnot. But that's all just self-taught and fiddling. I play any video games? I do, yeah. So on Twitch, we primarily stream video game play with the twice a month D&D sessions. For video games, I mean, I am a variety gamer in the truest sense of the word, for sure. But for what we stream, we primarily focus on like city/colony builders, survival builders, cozy games, and old school MMOs. So right now we're playing a lot of Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, RimWorld, The Sims, EverQuest, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, kind of things in that bailiwick. I like this actually a lot for going in the hair, but I think we flip flop it. It's a little chonkier than the tooth. I think we move the tooth over to the other side. Over here-ish. Oh, well, needs to go further in, but. It does look a little too much like a straight line of objects, so to speak, at the moment. But I think actually dropping that down helped a little bit. Maybe we move this like over here. Sorry, I'll catch up on the chat here in just one moment. Okay, so I think move that back where it was and then move this over a little more. I think that helps break it up. Oh. When you come up with characters, you have a pretty strong idea of who they are character-wise, but you often have no idea what they look like beyond the basic Pathfinder ABCs of character creation, being ancestry, background, and class. I have played a bit of 2e, not a ton, to be honest, but I have played a little bit. I think for me, where I start on that kind of thing is like what do they do, and what would be like, try and start with like one or two really defining visual traits that like apply to what they do. That's how we got things like how her hands, her like palms and fingers are like ink stained and or possibly charred. You'll never know. Because like she is a fortune teller, like, and herbalist, and like just kind of generally witchy person. Yeah, and so it's funny that you mentioned that, because I sort of have a YouTube video planned about this exact subject, right? Which is, do you start with mechanics and then come up with a description that fits, or do you start with a description and then find mechanics that fit? I think they're both valid, TLDR, but it is kind of an interesting difference in ways to process things. Hello. She's almost done, Rocket. For those of you that don't know, Kale in chat there is one of our players. All good, Reading Squirrel. Thanks for hanging. For those of you that were here earlier when I was talking about it, Kale plays our foreign-born noble. What does this feel like it's made of? You know? As you learn Pathfinder 2e more, or learn more of the options, you'll sometimes build characters based on certain game mechanics. Oh, for sure. But then you can, I mean, how you describe them and you know and have them act in the world is still kind of its own separate thing, right? I don't know why. It feels like gems to me there. Right? It feels like gems in some kind of setting. And we've been going with kind of an emeraldy for her gems. There's like a little bit of a theme there. That actually looks kind of cool for the hair, but that's neat. I like that. Well, so we've actually, it's not oh, I forgot the overlay did still say power hour. Whoops. Well, that was supposed to get changed. Wednesdays we're no longer doing power hour. Wednesday is like just GM working stream, and Thursdays are power hours. I just forgot to update the overlay. I feel like that should not be leather. That should be metal, huh? Oh, that's interesting. I don't like that. Since this year in the Chinese lunar calendar is the year of the wood snake. I knew it was snake. I didn't know wood snakes particularly. Interesting. You've been coming up with different wood snake ideas. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I don't know quite enough about the mechanics of Pathfinder 2e to like specifically talk about that. But obviously if you want to bounce any ideas off of us in chat, like we can give feedback on concepts. I think so. Pathfinder is interesting because Pathfinder originally comes from D&D 3.5. So first edition Pathfinder is like I often call it D&D 3.75. Pathfinder second edition though goes much more off in its own direction. And personally, for how the two main systems have been modernized between Pathfinder and D&D, I like Pathfinder second edition a lot more than D&D fifth edition. I'm not trying to start a version war or whatever, and I'm certainly no fifth edition hater. In fact, I'm currently playing in a fifth edition game. So it's nothing like that. I just personally, I like how Pathfinder 2 modernized the system a bit more than how 5th edition did. There we go. We've at least gotten to the right general area. You think Pathfinder 2nd Edition's best mechanic is degrees of success? I love that kind of thing in systems for sure. Yeah, exactly, Cybersloth. And like I said, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that I personally like that is what I enjoy about the two most modern systems. But like I talked about earlier when I talked about our world building, right, is you have to find the system that helps you tell the story that you want to tell. And because we want to tell a like low fantasy, gritty, story, like we personally use 3.5. But like I'm not going to try and sit here and argue that 3.5 is the best edition and everybody else is wrong or whatever. I know you're not saying that I was, but I just, expanding on the point. You've played from basic through 4 and a tiny bit of 5e. Never played Pathfinder 1e. Yeah, if you played 3.5, it was kind of hard to make to justify, I guess, for lack of a better word, getting into Pathfinder 1e, and that's why we never did. I already owned all the books and stuff. So it was easier for us to stick with 3.5 than to switch to Pathfinder 1e. Now that being said, I do really like, like I said, when Pathfinder 2e came out and we saw kind of like what the design goals of Pathfinder 2e were, I thought that was really interesting. Agreed. Like 5e is great for telling like MCU type stories. Yeah, precisely. And the other thing to note too, right, is you can make any system do just about anything with enough tweaking, right? Like you can play superheroes in second edition. You can play, you can play gritty in fifth edition. Like you can do all the things. I think this is coming together for me for what I want it to do. That's more or less the right angle. We go here. Maybe there. It feels, no, it's too on the same height as the other one. We need to go up a bit, like there. You're looking forward to Starfinder Second Edition. I've heard about that several times recently. I don't personally know anything about it, but I am a little curious. It'll be out this summer and use the same rules as Pathfinder 2e. Oh, interesting. Is that? Oh, right. Because Starfinder, that's Paizo, right? I had only heard of that like really recently, but and generally not the type of TTRPG that I personally like to play. But I'm super glad that it exists. It sounds really cool. You're actually in a playtest game next weekend. Oh, super cool. Have a blast. That's why you went to OSE. You can plug in pretty much any rule from any system, and it still works solidly. Also, you can pull out rules you don't enjoy, and the game won't totally unravel. When 4E came out, you were in a group playing 3.5. You decided to go 4E instead of Pathfinder. Oh, interesting. Because I'm sure you know, but generally speaking, the whole way that Pathfinder came to be was because most people like explicitly did not do that. You've also played a tiny bit of Starfinder First Edition. Cool. Starfinder is Pathfinder in space in the future. So I never really thought of this before, but they've essentially gone the Warhammer route. That makes a lot of sense. Today has been the worst. Oh no, how come? Terrible surprise observation today, and you feel, oh no. Well, I mean, how did you feel like that went? Obviously, the surprise part kind of sucks no matter what, but sick with a scratchy throat and headaches. Enjoy that Paizo gives the rules away for free with archives. Yeah. I like that Paizo was pretty much like, hey, all that stuff that that Wizards is doing that is making everybody mad. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and not do that. Oh, that needs to go in further. Giggity. Right. Oh God. I hate when you click on the person on accident like that and then it pulls out the whole skeleton. How would you like to screw up your entire design in 2 clicks? Well, because you do want to move the skeleton sometimes. It's just a little too easy to get to. I've gone too far the other way. Rip. There we go. That's fine. I think if we can just get it to go in a little more. There we go. Okay. Da, da, da. Father plays a bunch of Starfinder, a bunch of other stuff from Paizo. It's interesting. Oh, cool. I didn't know your dad played TTRPG. Went terrible. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's so with I kind of get why administration might want something like that to be a surprise, but at the same time, like, you're never going to catch somebody at their best, right? Like the thinking is, you know, oh, I'll see them in like their natural state or whatever, but like the surprise factor, it's like Schrodinger's stuff, right? Like the process of observing something changes it. I played World of Warcraft, but the group that you were playing with said 4E felt like WoW. Oh, interesting. 4E does feel a lot like WoW. Well, yeah, so 4E, right, they took the, like, 3rd edition kind of, refined the rules from 2nd edition and sought to kind of make, like, a grounded reality setting. 4th edition, broadly speaking, I'm very broad strokes here. 4th edition, broadly speaking, was more of a, like, leaned more into the wargaming aspect of things. And 5th edition, like, leaned more into accessibility and narrative and, like, trying to be more mechanics light. Played a bit of Starfinder 1st edition, but you like Pathfinder 2nd edition rules better. They feel more streamlined. Yeah, that was the whole purpose, right? Was like Pathfinder 1st edition was like, let's just keep 3.5 going, essentially. Pathfinder 2nd edition was like, okay, now we're going to do our own streamlining, kind of like how 5th edition sought to do for D&D. And like streamline the system and make it more accessible. Just started running. Oh, you're running your PFS game. Nice. That's awesome. Or he was to get the MMO players into D&D. Yeah, yeah. On Earth, you learn to apply the mountain of rules to GM and Pathfinder 2nd edition. You got a physical book. You're like, holy cow. He's the one who got you interested in it, but you found that you're very much not a tabletop player unless you're in person. You just can't focus. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I totally get that. I myself still very, as much as I love our online games and whatnot, I very much miss the presence of playing in person. So I totally understand. Okay, we just need a material for this, and then I'm actually gonna be done with this mini. Paints, wood. I feel like this is wood, right? This looks woody to me for some reason. Mulch brown. I want darker. Okay, not that dark. That's a cool color though. What if we do something like that? That's really dark though and kind of doesn't read wood. Too green. Too white. She's already got so much white in her hair. Ooh, that's kind of like what I was thinking. I like that you can actually see the hair through it too. Your gem was running a Starfinder adventure path that was basically Firefly. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, Pixie's literally gasping on the other side of the room right now. She's now squishing things to come and presumably comment on that in some form.
Who's playing the Inara character?
You're not talking in front of the microphone.
Who's playing the Inara character?
Also, for those of you that haven't met her, this is my wonderful wife, Pixie. Mwah. Really? Like you love our games, but unless you have something else in the background going on, you can't even sit and watch. Yeah, no, I totally get it. So Pixie is one of the players in our campaign, and also we stream video games together on Twitch. They said hi. Need to make a sticker of this current image. What do we think? Warmer wood on the outside, lighter wood in the middle, like that? Or darker on the outside, lighter on the inside? I'm torn. Oh God. Anola likes dark on the inside. I have to admit, I'm leaning more towards dark on the outside. No, I don't. I didn't have a strong opinion when I asked, but then as soon as I clicked through it one more time, I was like, I think I like the dark on the outside because it gives a little bit more definition. Like it's, you know, it contrasts more with the hair. You GM for your wife as well. She's prepping for her first GMing experience. Oh, that's so cool. Woodland Critters theme. So are we going like Redwall? Play a rat folk thief. Ooh, love it. You started by playing, you began actually playing in PFS in February of last year. So right about a year then. What do you mean, Cyber? Like you're not into pre-written scenarios? Got it. Yeah, I am glad that pre-written scenarios exist for a number of reasons, but also I personally like get a lot of my enjoyment out of making my own stuff. Much like I'm not going to talk down on versions, I'm not going to talk down on folks that are using modules either. But like personally, I like making like adding my own stuff too much. How do we think about the hair? Does it look, to me at least, it looks like it has been successfully trinketed now. I'm feeling pretty good about it. If you have the core rule book, that book is huge. The goal with that was to have one book that people could buy, but with the remaster, they split it again. Oh, did they? I didn't know that. Interesting. So Pathfinder is essentially on 2.5 then. All right, how are we doing on time? I guess we're not going to get the religious stuff yet. We'll work on that tomorrow. But I will, for anybody who hasn't been here for the Minna description, I'll read it one more time. We'll enjoy one more panoramic, and then we'll save the mini. Your wife isn't the dark and dreary type, more like Disney Pixar-esque. Well, okay, yeah. Fair enough, but still anthropomorphic woodland creatures. Do I still have the description up? Oh, I might not. Hold on. Also, that's a picture of us scuba diving. Don't worry. It wasn't something that you weren't supposed to see. I'd say it's more 2.1. The remaster changes aren't huge. Lots of it's like renaming. Okay. I got it. All right. Well, at long last, we spent way too long on this mini, but honestly, I've never done the kit bashing to the extent that we did here, and I had a lot of fun with it. So, hashtag sorry, not sorry. So to put the finishing touches on it, this is Minna Noctegal. She's an herbalist and fortune teller who specializes in occult style items and darker magics. She is a petite and wiry gnome with an eerie presence. Her ashen blonde hair, streaked with silver despite her relatively young age, is often tied into messy braids adorned with small trinkets, runes, bones, and bits of polished obsidian. Her pale blue eyes have a ghostly intensity, always scanning the world as if seeing more than what's visible. Her complexion is fair but slightly shadowed, as if she spends long hours poring over forbidden tomes by candlelight. She wears dark, layered robes embroidered with esoteric symbols and a belt heavy with pouches of rare herbs and talismans. Her fingers, ink-stained and calloused, are often adorned with rings set with strange stones. Despite her small stature, Minna moves with quiet confidence, her voice carrying a soft but unsettling cadence. She smells faintly of incense and damp parchment, and when she speaks, it often feels like a whispered secret from another realm. She is done. She has been fully envisioned. Yeah, we had a few newer people tune in, so I wasn't sure if everybody had been here. Plus, it feels like kind of a touchstone to finish the mini, to read the description one more time, you know? I decided to change a lot of stuff because it was based on Watsio and stuff, and the OGL threat scared him. Yeah. A laptop with archives of Nethys. Yep. We used to use the laptop with the SRD a lot when we played at the table. One of the Pathfinder 2e designers has said, don't let all the rules stop you from improvising, so that's pretty official. Yeah, I think that kind of guidance is good, especially for newer DMs who might get too caught up in the black and white. At the same time, I always struggled with the way that 5th edition implemented that, especially when it was new. I know that obviously they've continued to develop 5th edition, and then we have 5.5 and et cetera, et cetera. But 5th edition to me, especially when it first launched, really felt like they were pretty much like, there's rules, but yeah, do whatever. It's like, okay, but at that point, like, what are you selling? Like, what's the product? What do I get by buying the books and getting into your system? Like, I still want to have a basis for things, even if I'm playing more rules loose and I'm playing, more narrative and like in general, house ruling more. I still want to have a basis, And 5th edition, like I said, at least at the beginning, it always felt a little too like, just do whatever you want. It's like, well, I mean, yes, that's what we're doing. That's how TTRPG works. But like at the same time, I still expect you to deliver a product, you know? Fifth edition, yeah. So I think they became aware of that criticism, and they started adding more crunch to fifth edition. Although it's still nowhere near like older editions, but still. And then now it somehow manages to be both instead of being, you know, like instead of working towards an average in the middle, it somehow manages to kind of be both. It's weird. In your group, you're the only one that has a hardback Pathfinder book anymore after your GM's book was stolen with his laptop. Oh, no. Still figuring out which you want to bring with you when you run games. With PFS, you've got the scenario and usually a tablet with AON open. I mean, that's really all I used to use. You know, and obviously dice, but Pathfinder 2 has a lot of rules, but they're not meant to get in your way. That being said, you've never done much homebrew with Pathfinder, but you're still... Yeah, for sure. I mean, tabletop's one of those weird things where you can do something for a year and still be new, right? It's weird. Anyway, this has been an absolute pleasure. I do need to wind down for the day. Where do we go? Okay, I wanted to be done before 3 hours, 2 hours, 52 minutes. So pretty much right on the nose. If you had fun, if you're not already a subscriber, please, we're working really hard to grow our YouTube channel this year. We would super appreciate your support here. We do upload all of our sessions to youtube.com/HereThereBeMonsters, and we also do these live streams. We stream longer streams every Wednesday and shorter, like a little bit more focused streams every other Thursday. Like I said, we upload all of our sessions here after we play them. We play twice a month for our normal campaign sessions. And we have a player backstory video for Bahir, the foreign-born noble, which actually I'll grab that link and paste it for you guys really quickly before I go. In case anybody's curious to check that out as we take off. And we have more non-session like D&D original videos planned for YouTube here this year. So let me grab that link for you, and then hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is our Thursday. This is our Thursday week. But if I don't see you tomorrow, of course, I hope you have an excellent rest of your week. Don't worry, I'm not turning it off quite yet. If you have a few more messages you want to throw in chat or whatever to each other. Grab the link that I wanted. Okay. Dice and index cards. Yep, index cards are a great tool. You can use them for taking notes and or for passing information off to other people as well. Thanks for the convo. Yeah, Kojo, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in and for contributing to the conversation. I really appreciate it. Never played any edition of D&D that didn't have house rules. Oh, for sure. For sure. If you guys are curious about Bahir's backstory, like I said, it's about 6 minutes long. We scripted it and had his player narrate it, and it was a lot of fun, and there will be more of those coming soon. Like I said, hopefully I'll catch you all tomorrow. If not, have a great rest of your week. Have a good weekend, and as always, take care and be excellent to each other.